again, everybody. I'm Frank Bissoni, and welcome to this classic tournament. Our 8 teams in the Elite Eight today have average records of 27 victories and only 2 defeats. And the defending state champion will play here in our first session. In our first quarterfinal matchups today, we'll have the Titans of Rockford Boylan 28-3, challenging the Chargers of St. Joseph's 26-2. And then the Jaguars of Chicago King, last year's winners at 26-4, take on the Elgin Maroons 28-2. And now for more on our first game. Here's my colleagues, Jim Albrecht and Coach Bill Geist.
Thank you, Frank, and good afternoon, everybody. Coach Geist, in the first game, St. Joe's and Rockford Boylan, we're talking about a contrast in offensive styles. First of all, St. Joe's likes to get it out on the wing and get down there in a hurry.
Well, yeah, also contrast in defensive styles, because I think what we're going to see in St. Joe's is they're going to be pressing all over, full court as well as half court. They're going to like to run it up, hopefully get some easy shots before the Boylan big guys get down there to play defense. And I think what Boylan's going to want to do is get the ball inside to their big kid.
That big kid is Chad Gallagher. Now, to get the ball into Chad Gallagher, you've got to get the ball down the floor, as you mentioned. So a lot of pressure is on the Boylan guards this afternoon.
I agree with you. I think for Boylan, I think the key is the play of their guards. If they can get the ball up court and get the ball to the offensive people who should have it, they've got an excellent chance of winning. Of course, St. Joe's, I think, knows that, and Coach Pingatore knows it, and I think he's going to try to put as much pressure on those guards as he can, especially early in the game when there's going to be a little bit of nervousness.
And for the folks who like to see a pure shooter from anywhere on the floor, we invite you to watch a man named Brian Molis. You have played against him, Coach. There is no spot too far.
No, he likes to fire the ball. And I think he's got the green light from Coach Pingatore also. So when he gets a good one, or he thinks he's got a good one, he's going to put it up there, and he hits most of them.
What do you think about the experience factor? Boylan's been down here now to the Elite Eight 3 times in a row. Westchester, St. Joe's 5 out of the last 6 years. I understand the talent changes and the kids graduate, but that's got to help a little bit stabilize that first game jitters.
Well, it should, but, you know, it's a standoff, I think, between the 2 teams. Both coaches have been down here, too. Yeah, I think it's a matter of not the veterans that are down here for the second time, but the new kids. You know, they're here for the very first time. How are they going to react? And like the Boylan guards, I think a key for St. Joe's is not the Molis, it's the big kids inside for them.
It is Rockford Boylan and Westchester St. Joe's. When we come back, Frank Bissoni will talk with both coaches, but let's pause for these messages first.
If you really want the best deal, remember this. For the best quality American-made appliances, you just can't beat Whirlpool. And for the best price in free delivery, you just can't beat Neil's. Neil's, the king of deals in downtown Pekin.
Here's the baseball feed in, and they're trying to get the tip up by a hook. Yes!
Watching great moments from Bradley basketball really makes me work up an appetite. And nothing can satisfy my hunger like eating kitchen-cooked potato chips, made with that hearty golden flavor right here in the heart of Illinois. So when the gang gets together to watch the game, or the kids are looking for that perfect snack, serve up kitchen-cooked potato chips. And I wouldn't do this commercial either if I didn't eat them myself. They're great!
Before Gene Pingatore joins Frank Bissoni before today's game, well, I guess he's coming right now, so let's go to Frank and talk with Mr. Pingatore. Frank, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, and I'm here with the head coach of the St. Joe Chargers, Gene Pingatore. It's been the 5th time in the last 6 years. What makes that possible, Coach?
I'm not so sure. You have to be lucky, I'll tell you that. Coming the route we come through year after year, you have to be lucky.
Well, you also have to be skilled and well coached. And tell us about this fine young team of yours.
Well, we have a fine ball club with only 2 people with varsity experience, Clifford Scales and Brian Molis, coming back. And they blended, it took a whole year to do it, but they blended into a cohesive unit. Brian's an off-guard forward type, leading scorer at 19 points a game. Clifford Scales is an off-guard at 6'2", averaging 17 a game. Point guard Terry Mister, 5'9", strong kid, strong defender, averaging about 7 points a game. We have Oliver Caesar, a senior at 6'4", excellent defensive player. John Dragas, the defensive player, 6'5" at center. Off the bench, Carl Hayes, 6'7", junior. That's actually our third leading scorer and our top rebounder. And Chucky Murphy, a guard off the bench that will spell Terry Mister. So they've done a great job, and we're really happy with the kids.
Tell us how your team has changed from the beginning of the year to now.
Well, the guard play was the difference. In the beginning of the year, we had no experience on the guards because we graduated three-point guards the last year. And they came on, and I said all along, as they would come, we would get better, and that's what's happened.
Well, congratulations on getting here. All the best.
Thank you a lot, Frank.
Gene Pingatar of St. Joe's, and here's the head man of Rockford Boylan, Steve Gores. And Steve, it's been 3 years in a row for you in the Assembly Hall. How is that possible?
I don't know. You know, if you could tell me how it's possible, we'd be here every year. You know, I wish it would be 3. I think there's a lot of dedication with our athletes, and they work hard all year long. In the off season, they're always playing, and they're always going to camps, and they're lifting weights. And
those are some of the things.
Yeah, I think they're just some of the things, yes.
Steve, but what kind of tempo would you like this game to be?
Well, I don't mind an up-tempo at all. I mean, we're not afraid to run with anybody. Just our problem is we better be back on St. Joe's because they're a quality team and they can run very well. But I don't mind an up-tempo. We're going to play some good pressure defense. They are. It could be a mirror, really, a mirror game, except maybe we'll go inside more.
Okay, congratulations on getting here. All the best to you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Rockford Boylan will be back in just a moment. Now here's Jim.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank. Now let's go for the presentation of colors and our national anthem to today's public address announcer, Mr. Steve Adams. Steve?
Ladies and gentlemen, after the presentation of the colors, we ask you to stand and join soloist Bill Olson of the University of Illinois and sing our national anthem as it is played by the pep band from New Lenox Lincoln Way High School.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors, that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We are just moments away from the tip-off of the quarterfinal round here in 1987 at the Class 2A tournament. Coach Geist, how important as a coach the first 3 minutes? You can't really coach anything out there because of the atmosphere here, but what do you say to try to calm them down? Because this is big if you're 17 or 18.
Sometimes I think you just hope to survive the first 3 minutes because you don't know what your kids are going to do. You can talk to them all you want and counsel them and tell them what to do, but, you know, they're 16 or 17 years old. You're not sure what they're going to do, so it's important.
And now for today's starting lineups, let's go to public address announcer Steve Adams.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the coaches and players for this first quarterfinal round game featuring the Westchester St. Joseph Chargers and the Rockford Boylan Titans. First, let's meet the Chargers of St. Joseph High School from Westchester with a record of 26 wins and 2 losses. First, introducing the head coach in his 17th season with a record of 345 wins, 122 losses. Here is Gene Pingator. And now the players. Number 10, a 5'6" senior, Tony Brown. Number 12, a 5'10" junior, Chucky Murphy. Number 21, a 6'2" senior, Sean Tyler. Number 25, a 5'8" senior, Michael Hall. Number 32, a 6'6" sophomore, Daryl Cunningham. Number 33, a 6'4" senior, Tim Melinda. And number 35, a 6'7" junior, Carl Hayes. And now the starting lineup. At 1 forward, a 6'4" senior, number 20, Brian Molis.
Molis averaging nearly 19 points a game, 6 rebounds.
At the other forward, a 6'4" senior, 24, Oliver Caesar.
Doesn't score a lot, but around the boards, 3 points a game for Caesar.
At center, a 6'5" senior, 34, John Dragus.
Coach Pingator likes to call him his defensive guy in the middle.
At 1 guard, a 5'9" senior, 22, Terry Mister.
Mister averaging 8 points a game.
And at the other guard, a 6'2" senior, 23, Clifford Scales.
This guy can hurt you, averaging 17.5 points a game.
Those are the Chargers of St. Joseph High School from Westchester. And now let's meet the Titans of Boylan High School from Rockford, entering this game with a record of 28 wins and 3 losses. First, the head coach in his 7th season at Boylan with a record of 155 and 46. Meet Steve Gores. And now the players. Number 20, a 5'7" senior, J.J. Polk. Number 22, a 5'8" junior, David Apino. Number 32, a 6'2" junior, Charles Thomas. Number 34, a 5'11" junior, Andy Binns. Number 42, a 6'4" junior, Phil Harris. Number 50, a 6'4" senior, Mike Grady. And number 52, a 6'3" junior, Ernie Schaefer. And now the starting lineup. At 1 forward, a 6'4" junior, 24, Ken Linsky.
Linsky with 10 points a game and 6 boards.
At the other forward, a 6'5" junior, number 40, Lamont McGee.
McGee with 6 rebounds as well and an 8-point average.
At center, a 6'9" senior, 44, Chad Gallagher.
That's the man they want to get it to. 20 points a game, almost 8 rebounds per contest.
At 1 guard, a 6' junior, number 10, Paul Fulling.
He's the quarterback. He gets the ball to the other guys.
And at the other guard, a 6'2" senior, number 30, Brad Ferger.
An excellent perimeter shooter, averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds per game.
Those are the Titans of Boylan High School from Rockford. And now the officials, Nathaniel Humphrey of Bellwood and Reuben Norris of Chicago.
We are just about set for Rockford, Boylan, and Westchester St. Joe's. But first, here's a word from one of your network sponsors, John Deere.
If you ever wasted a Saturday trying to replace a cheap tension spring or a sheared pin, this needs to be your new mower. If you ever killed a Sunday by chewing up a drive belt or burning out a bearing, this is a John Deere. And because it's built so well, you can get something from a John Deere that you can't always depend on with other mowers. You can get done.
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick, yeah. Whoa, the goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick, yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting calcium and vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Well, come on, everybody, milk's that kick. Health kick, do that kick. Come on, everybody, do that kick. America's favorite health kick.
The Class 2A quarterfinal round is about to commence here in Champaign, Illinois. Jim Albrecht, Frank Pisoni, and, of course, Coach Bill Geist of Lyle Bennett. There you see where the schools are from. Rockford, Boylan, playing in the Northern Illinois NIC 10 Conference from Winnebago County. Westchester St. Joe from Cook County. Out of the East Suburban Catholic League, it'll be Gallagher jumping center with Ken Linsky. And Gallagher should win this tip if height has anything to do with it.
Big enough. I think if you're a Boylan fan, all eyes should be on Paul Fulling right now.
Well, Linsky wins it instead with a quick jump, and here comes Boylan. On the wing, it is Scales, and he's got it. Clifford Scales takes the first shot of the tournament down here in the Elite Eight and gets exactly what he wanted.
I didn't think anybody ever score.
Just underway.
You look for Scales or Molis to start St. Joe's off, and Scales did a nice job with a good jumper.
Berger with the ball out front. He likes that pick from Gallagher. Glass is too hard. Rebound fought for and controlled by St. Joe's. Here's the outlet pass to Mister, and he couldn't get it. Good defense that time by Gallagher, who bothered him on the way down. Berger has a little problem with the ball as Scales comes up to greet him, almost takes it away, and now they will call, I believe, a foul on Clifford Scales. No foul?
No, I believe he touched the ball and his foot was out of bounds, so they're giving it to Boylan. Little first minute or two of nervousness here on both teams.
They go into Linsky with it. He doesn't want the 12-footer along the baseline. Paul Fulling with the ball. Back to Ferger. That's his shot, but it's partially blocked by Scales, but kicked back to Gallagher. That's too hard. Rebound fought for. McGee is there and couldn't get the roll, but he's fouled.
See, this is where Boylan's strength is on the boards because of their size. St. Joe's is going to have to do a much better job screening out.
McGee gets a strange-looking spin on this shot, but that was because of the angle.
Yeah, I'll tell you, in the first 2 minutes of the game, though, you're going to see a lot of strange things.
For instance, Gallagher with a wide-open 12-footer and shooting it a little too hard. Usually he'll bury that.
See, we were talking before, Jim, about the first 3 minutes. You don't know what's going to happen. See, they got a little nervousness here. Shots that should go down aren't. Fumbling the ball, not grabbing, little things like that. So you just hope your team gets over it.
Well, McGee's a 55% free throw shooter on the year, but he buries his first two here in the Elite Eight, and Boylan and St. Joe are tied, but quickly down the other way. Shot is no good by Molis, and we've got traveling called as Scales could not control himself after the rebound.
Looks like Scales might have hurt himself on the rebound, Jim.
There you see the shot not there, and Scales with a nice effort, but couldn't find any landing space.
Well, you can see he's going up hard for the ball, and there's no foul here because both players were just going after it. And he's back on his feet, thank God.
See how the full court pressure is applied by St. Joe's. There's the pinch, and a good pass up court to Linsky. Linsky's got a 3-on-2, but a nice defensive play at that time by John Dragus. And here comes Scales for St. Joe's. No, but he gets his own rebound. And they'll kick up the offense now and crank it up in the form of Terry Mister. Over it goes along the baseline. Dragus rarely shoots. This man will. Molis hits it. Brian Molis with his first two.
He's not going to miss too many of those, Jim. He will not miss too many of those shots.
Well, Boylan's really got the defense packed in. The other way, Ferger too short. Scales had the rebound, but I think he'll be called for the foul as Paul Fulling was also there, the guard for Boylan, and they say that Fulling had position, so Scales picks up his first personal foul. Looks like that defense of Rockford Boylan is just kind of daring him to take the outside shot. Is that a good idea?
Well, I really think, you know, they pressed that first time down, and then they tried to pick up their men, and they didn't do a very good job of it, and somebody was left open.
Linsky off the glass. It'll count, and he's fouled. Ken Linsky, the 6'4", 170-pound junior, made a nice snake move, which you're about to see here. Good pump fake. And Molis got him on the back.
Jim, Boylan is a power team, I believe, and this is the type of shot that they want. They want to fake a little bit, lean in, throw it off the glass, get it into Gallagher for the short shot. And this is what's tough, I think, for St. Joe's because of their size or lack of size to handle.
And I don't think, Frank, we have to mention anything about the importance of free throws down here. Everyone counts. Mister gets it over to Dragus, but Dragus, as I said, not in there for shooting. Scales is, and that's why. Clifford Scales with the jumper. He's got 4, and it's a 6-5 ball game. St. Joe's in front.
Benny Dees of New Orleans says his daddy told him there are 2 things that don't last long: dogs that chase cars and teams that don't make free throws.
In the lane is Linsky, and he finds the net again. Well, Linsky, who averages 10 points on the year, has 5 now in this ball game. And that's a great thing about a state tournament, gentlemen. You look at the averages before you come in, and you see a guy with 18, 19, and then suddenly somebody comes up with a game of their lives. Ball tipped out of bounds. St. Joe's getting a little bit of their own medicine here, Bill Geist, and I think Coach Gores is doing this for a reason, this full court pressure.
Well,
loosen them up.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the game it can't hurt you because it gets your team concentrating. Maybe you'll pick up an easy turnover. And it can't hurt you because you always take it off. You got the rest of the game to make up for any mistakes.
Down the middle it goes to Molis, and a great pass. Wide open was Molis.
We've got Molis and Scales 8, Boylan 7 right now.
Scales almost walked that time down. Berger on the drive tries the left hand, and all he'll get for his efforts is a charge. A little bit out of control that time by Brad Berger. As you see, tried to change hands. A good idea, but planting himself in front of him was Mr. Scales.
Excellent play by the defensive player. Excellent play.
J.J. Polk getting set to check in now for Rockford Boylan as Berger will go out.
I think it's an interesting substitution because I think Brad Berger is having a little hard time getting going, and I think Coach just wants to talk to him a little bit now. I'd be surprised if he's not right back in the game.
Well, Polk is no stranger to playing for the Titans. He sees a lot of playing time. Scales with the basketball. Scales, who is heading to the University of Nebraska after this. In the lane again is Molis. They're running that perfectly, shooting it to the wing, and the man who makes the pass to the wing picks up a high pick and rolls down in. It's 10-7, and traveling in the backcourt on the new man in the ballgame, J.J. Polk. And a lot of coaches don't like to see that guy who just came off the bench handle the ball early, but when you're a guard working against the pressure, what can you do?
Sometimes you don't have a choice.
4:45 remaining in the first quarter here as Boylan and St. Joe decide who will play the winner of Elgin and defending state champion Chicago King. Molis wants a 17-footer. He gets what he wants. That's 8 points for Molis. As we told you at the outset, he was averaging just about 19. Polk against pressure by Mister finally gets it into Fulling. Along the baseline it goes to Linsky, and now back up top. Polk doesn't want it. Linsky does. That's going to be short. Rebound, and we've got a whistle and a foul underneath. And from the reaction of J.J. Polk, it will be against St. Joe's. And I think Caesar picked it up.
Tim, I really think this is interesting so far. The last time down, you saw Boylan having a difficult time getting the ball up against St. Joe's press. Once they did, they tried to go inside. Joe's is sagging a little bit. They wound up taking a shot I don't think Coach wanted. But they caught a break here. They're getting the ball out of bounds.
As you saw, 2 fouls now on Caesar. Paul Fulling will come out, checking in now. Back in is Brad Berger at 1 guard position. And Phil Harris will come in and play at the forward position right now.
And a key player for St. Joe's just came in the game, Carl Hayes.
That would be number 35, Carl Hayes, the junior. He can be explosive. Let's see if Berger learned anything from his coach during that brief interlude on the bench. Harris tries to lob it in to Gallagher, but not a good idea as St. Joe's comes away with it. Scales one-on-one off the glass.
great control on the fast break. Came down, took a nice little jumper off the glass.
Well, Boylan's getting into a little trouble now. Ferger has his shot blocked. Molis got it, but Gallagher gets it back, and they need this one. Don't get it. Rebound fought for, and coming out of it is Carl Hayes. Quickly Scales. Molis, count him up. And Rockford Boylan may need to time out right now. They're trailing by 9, 16-7. They're getting one shot, gentlemen.
Well, the last time down, too, Gallagher took that shot from outside. If you're St. Joe's, that's where you want him to shoot from.
See, Ferger's not taking his normal shot. He's pulling up a little bit. Gallagher finally gets a big offensive rebound, and that stops the run from St. Joe's momentarily. 16-9 our score, as you see on the screen.
Right now, we have a man-to-man press by Boylan.
Scales is so under control, isn't he? This is Mister. Gets it over to Dragus, who I said rarely shot, and buries his first one.
He's got his points per game average now, I think, already, right?
Yeah, Dragus only averages 2 points a game, so he got it right there.
See, Scales and Molis got St. Joe's off to a great start. Now the other players are loosening up, and they're contributing.
And that's exactly what Boylan needs to do. Kick it into the big 6'10" man, Gallagher, and J.J. Polk got the assist to Gallagher. And again, it's a 7-point game. Mister in the middle of Hayes.
St. Joe's is getting too many easy shots, man, if you're a Boylan fan. I think you want them to be shooting from the outside a little bit more and with a little bit more pressure. But they're getting one easy shot after another. Boylan's got to make a defensive adjustment, I think.
Phil Harris gets it inside to Lamont McGee. Nice left-handed move. And he got it to fall. Again. The Boylan pressure, what there is of it, is not working at all as the two guards, Mister and Scales, just kind of flow through it. Scales almost lost it, then blows by Ferger. Now takes the baseline, and he'll get it to fall. He blew by 2 men.
Yes, he did. It was a nice controlled dribble, and I think he was expecting somebody to step out in front of him. Nobody ever did, so he just kept on going. He went up strong and got the roll, and he's shooting a free throw.
Well, Ferger jumped out as the ball almost went out of bounds. Then Scales saved it, and then McGee never slid down along the baseline. And Scales said, well, fine, if it's open, I guess it's open for business then.
Defensively right now, Boylan is not playing their type of game on defense. They're just not moving their feet quick enough. I don't know whether it's the St. Joe's quickness or they're just not concentrating enough.
Scales with 9, and St. Joe with a big lead. Here in the first quarter, minute 43 left to play. 23-13 our score. And now let's take time out for these messages.
Something we all take for granted. An Illinois American wants to keep it that way.
Oh, hey, Camelon. Got a minute? Sure. I saw what you did for my neighbor over there.
Most people come to Camelon because of the work we've done for their neighbors.
Tell me what...
Besides feeding your lawn, our people are specially trained to control the weeds and insects that can damage it. This kind of service is what makes Camelon different, and it's why we can guarantee you a healthier, more beautiful lawn or your money back.
Excuse me, Camelon, you gotta...
Be right with you.
Call now for Camelon Care. We give our people better training. They give you a better lawn.
Joe's has a 10-point lead right now. Here's one of the reasons.
Well, this is called the oldest play in basketball, I think, the old give and go. You just pass the ball and then cut to that basket, and the Boylan player didn't react real well.
Well, Boylan got one of their own inside with Chad Gallagher accepting the pass from J.J. Polk.
See, the Boylan fans would love to see a lot more of that, getting it inside to the big guy.
Well, St. Joe's is, I guess we could classify them as toasty right now. They've hit 9 shots in a row. 10 of 13, as you see, and that's why they have the 10-point lead.
Well, they've been very good shots, and I think that's why they've been making them.
Oh, Ferger with a tough shot. Let's see where the contact came from first. They say that Dragus did not have his feet planted, so Ferger will go to the free throw line. You think Rockford Boylan should slow it down a bit at this point?
Well, I think once they get it past half court and if they don't have a fast break or an easy basket, I think they should pull it out and really look to get it into their big hits. They've got a big lineup in there right now, and there's really no reason why those guys can't get more involved in the game.
Well, that should help loosen up Ferger a bit as he buries one from the 15-foot charity stripe.
I think Steve Gores is doing a nice job, too, because he's getting a lot of players in the game, and I think he's just giving them a little bit of experience because he realizes it's a long game. Sure, he's down 9 now, but we've got over 3 quarters to go.
I thought it was interesting to see Chad Gallagher out of the game at this point.
Well, I think he was tired, to be very honest with you. You know, he was guarding Hayes man-to-man on that press, and a big guy, 6'9", that's hard to do.
Well, Scales is certainly not tired as he hits from about 16 feet. His 11th point of the game. Ferger in a hurry, shut off along the baseline. Pulling down low to McGee, and that should go.
See, that's their power game. That's what they have to do. And I'll tell you one thing about Scales and Molis, their shooting arms will not get tired during this game. So if they've got those good shots, you know they're going up.
Yeah, in the weight room, they just say the right arm. That's all I want, just the right arm. Scales gets it inside. Molis forces it over to Dragus, and he'll spin and won't get that one, and a rebound comes down to Linsky. Stolen away. Hayes got it, and he's fouled. Well, that was just carelessness on the part of Boylan. They had 3 men around the basketball and somehow lost the handle, and Hayes, ever present, put it right back up, which is exactly what you got to do when you're surrounded and underneath the hoop.
Oh, yeah, well, the Boylan player had the ball, but he got a little lazy, and he figured no one was around, and he all of a sudden it stripped from him.
Linsky got the rebound.
Yeah, when you get that ball, you got to squeeze it and you got to protect it, whether you think somebody's around you or not, because these quick kids, they can be here, there, and everywhere at times.
Well, Carl Hayes not real happy about the result of that free throw. Gallagher getting set to check back in.
I think you saw Gene Pignator yelling one shot if he got the ball back.
There are 37 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
Well, now would be a good time. They get it's going to be interesting to see what Boylan does. I would take my time if I was Boylan and try to jam it inside again, because you know what Joe's is going to do if they get the ball back, so why rush?
Well, they've called off the Dogs as far as full court pressure is concerned, and St. Joe's will let Pulling bring it up fairly uncontested, and a foul away from the basketball, and it's against Rockford Boylan. Phil Harris was the man, I believe, called for the illegal screen. And that'll kill you when you're holding for the last shot.
Well, it'll kill you, too, because it was off the ball. It had nothing to do. You know, somebody was setting the screen, and they probably moved on it, and the official caught him. Now St. Joe's has the 10-point lead, and they're probably going to go for one shot. This was certainly their quarter.
Mister gets it over to Hayes, and Mister looks up at the scoreboard and finds 15 seconds now remaining. They should go just under 10. Mister now forces it and throws it away. Well, Mister got up in the air, and that's one of the places coaches don't like to see their young men unless they're exceptional passers.
I don't think it was that bad a play, to be honest with you. I just think the other player from St. Joe's wasn't looking for the ball.
There's a pass to Gallagher. He had it. He didn't keep his eyes on it, and now Mister will force one up from half court. And the first quarter in this first quarterfinal game at Champaign is history. And the history looks good so far for St. Joe's as they lead Rockford Boylan by 10. One of your network sponsors today is Country Companies Insurance.
The day you drive out with a new car, you start driving down the value month after month. With most auto insurance, total a car 2 years later, and you just get the used car value. But with Country Company's Keeper Policy, if your car is wrecked beyond repair, you get a brand new car. Same make and model, even if it costs more than you paid at first. So get the country behind you.
You got the Country Company.
Ask him what he thinks of the three-point shot in high school. St. Joe leading after the first quarter, and a good reason for that. Clifford Scales, who is already over 10 points on the game, and he's a smoothie. That's why he's going to the University of Nebraska, and his teammate Brian Mullis, who broke free early on those give and goes, is headed for the University of Colorado. So some big talent out here.
Jim, I think we've seen the strengths of both teams in this first quarter. St. Joe's with Scales and Mullis leading the way, their pressure defense, Boylan with their power game. It's just that St. Joe's has had more of their strength than Boylan. Boylan has taken some bad shots, I think, and hasn't had the patience on offense.
It is Fulling, Ferger, Gallagher, Linsky, and Phil Harris in there now for Boylan as they work offensively. They're trying to get it to Gallagher. He couldn't control it, and it belongs to St. Joe.
Jim, I don't think our analyst Bill Geist would probably mention this himself, but he's played both of these teams at Bennett and beaten them both, and so he's very familiar with both these coaches and teams.
Well, both these teams have, there's a turnover out front by Mister. Both these teams have a combined total of only 5 losses, and 2 of those compliments of Mr. Geist, which is why he doesn't get Christmas cards from the opposing coach.
You know, the last time down with Chad Gallagher, they lobbed him the ball, and he fumbled it and went out of bounds, and I think he was looking for a better pass, but I think he's got to get tougher. I mean, that ball's in the air. He's got to go after it harder. See, again, you got to go after it with 2 hands and really grab it. Keep your eyes on it. Once you have it, then power it up.
That one not necessarily his fault. A good defensive play out front by Ferger, but now they get it right back to Mullis, and that looks awful easy.
It's a great pass, and then Brian was waiting for the ball. Good 2-man play.
Well, St. Joe's looks just a step quicker right now than Boylan to me.
Ferger,
and a lot more alert.
Ferger had that ball knocked away out front. Now we've got a foul on the low post by Carl Hayes as he was trying to get in front of Phil Harris. First quarter statistics, as you can see, Boylan getting the short end of the field goal deal, 43%, but St. Joe sizzling 11 of 15. Free throws, not a real factor right now. Rebounds fairly even. Bench points 3 for St. Joe's, but the turnovers tell a bit of the tale because Boylan has 5.
And the field goal percent just talks about shot selection. The shot selection of St. Joe's has been excellent, and it's been a little questionable with Boylan.
Here's Harris. It's amazing how concentration can make those free throw statistics look minute. You know, you see a guy with a 60% mark and you figure he's got a 50-50 chance. But Harris needs both of these.
He looked good on both of them.
St. Joe back to that 10-point spread. Terry Mister throws it away. Ferger's got it, and he's fouled from behind by Mullis. Big defensive play by Ferger, who came out on the wing with the left arm and got a hold of the basketball and then was fouled from behind by Mullis, who was waiting for that pass.
I think that's his second foul. See, Brian has a tendency to get in a little foul trouble, at least the times this year when I saw him. And he and Clifford, they can't afford to lose with foul problems. So this is something that he's going to have to watch. We still have 7 minutes to go in the second quarter, and he picked up his second.
Ferger, 1-and-1. Well, you take a look at the yearly shooting charts for St. Joe, and you see that Mullis took 434 shots and Scales 309. And those 2 gentlemen are basically the offense when Gene Pingatore needs it.
I think that's the way it's been so far today, too. They've really been great leaders on offense, and this is just another example of it.
Pass underneath, gets away, tipped away, and picked up by Rockford Boylan. Linsky picked it up.
Boylan got a break there because the man was wide open. They just didn't get it to him.
Here's Gallagher.
He likes that shot. About an 8-footer, little turnaround jumper.
Well, if St. Joe's had visions of running out to maybe a 20-point lead by the half, they seem to be fading. Nice pass to Scales. Mister with a pretty assist, and I think he's fouling the play as well.
It's another easy shot, though. It's a great pass and great basketball, but you don't have to be a great player to make a shot like that. Of course, you got to be a great player to make the pass, though. I'm not taking anything away from St. Joe's, but just to emphasize the fact that Boylan is not playing very good defense.
If you notice on that replay, Gallagher was about 16 feet away from the basket. He was out front playing defense, and that's why it looks so wide open underneath. To get a 6'10" man to hang around the rim when he can,
I know
put those arms out.
Yeah, Jim, I know Rockford Boylan plays the zone. They have not done it yet today. You wonder if Coach is thinking about it. Of course, then if they did play that zone, then they're going to get their big guy inside where we're talking about that he really should be, I think. But that's, you know, that's what makes it interesting. The coach has got a lot of decisions to make, and he certainly knows his players a lot better than we do.
Scales now has 14 on the afternoon. Berger is open. And he won't get the roll. Gallagher was up there, but just mistimed his leap. Dragus with a rebound for St. Joe. Here come the Chargers in a hurry.
Have you noticed, Jim, that the St. Joe's baskets seem to be coming off of nice passes and assists, where the baskets of Boylan seem to be coming off a one-on-one type of move?
Scales trying to force matters a little bit. Doesn't agree with the call, but here is what the official called the charge. McGee looked like he had pretty good position to make.
It looked like Scales tripped a little bit before he ran in. Right there, he stumbled, and he kind of stumbled into the man, and the official said it was a charge.
He tripped on Ferger's foot.
That's 2 fouls for him also now. So both Scales and Molis have 2 fouls.
Well, Gallagher was trying to dump it off to McGee, and here comes the fast break, and you can count this up. No, Hayes missed the layup. Hayes missed the one inside, but we've got a foul after the shot wouldn't fall on Linsky of Rockford Boylan. That's how you run the fast break. 3-on-1 to perfection, but Hayes, let's see if he keeps his eye on the rim the whole time. Yeah, he did. He just put it up too hard.
I think out of the corner of his eye, he saw that 6'9" giant right behind him. That has a tendency to disturb you a little bit.
Yeah, you keep wondering if it's a shadow, a building, or what.
Everything looks easy here, though, doesn't it? You got to be out there on the court with the ball. Then it's a little bit tougher.
Well, Boylan had cut the lead to 6, but now St. Joe threatening to get it back up into double digits again.
I think, Frank, you made a great point before about the quickness of St. Joe's. I think it's very obvious that they are just a little bit quicker than Boylan, and I think that's why we're both thinking here that maybe the zone defense might be a little bit better for Boylan. It's just going to be interesting. Ooh, over the line a little too quick there. It's going to be interesting to see if an adjustment's going to be made.
It's also interesting to note that for the fans that the man who missed the layup is not shooting the free throw. This is Scales, of course.
Yeah, that foul occurred after the basket didn't go in and the ball bounded away. Linsky fouled Scales, who now has 16 points in the afternoon. Yeah, that's the Dallas Comedy free throw play. That's now famous. You just shoot it and go in before the ball hits it. McGee is inside, blocked by Hayes, but they say Mr. Hayes laid a hand on his hand.
That's a good play for Boylan, though, because they get it into one of their big kids, and he powers it up. Even if he blocks it, I think it's a good play. Here you make, the official has to make up his mind whether it's a good block or a foul. It went to, in this case, to the foul, but that's what Boylan has to do.
Yeah, McGee backed in, did the 180 with the one bounce, and went right to the glass. Let's see if it pays dividends here from the free throw line. 5:43 remaining here in the first half. Don't forget Elgin and the Chicago King coming up next.
You know, the stars for St. Joe's have really shown that, I think, so far. Scales and Molis being their high scorers and having a lot of points. Now, Gallagher is really, I would say, is the star for Boylan. And how many points has he scored?
Gallagher has 6.
He's got 6. I think he's got to do a little bit more, especially being the biggest guy out there.
Well, the problem has not been his shooting, aside from the first 2 minutes. It's just been getting him the ball and hanging on to the ball once he has it.
When they do throw the ball into him, he's got a lot of people around him. That's why I think his concentration has got to improve and just be sure to catch the ball first.
Molis. Is there one spot out there he can't hit from? Brian Molis drills it. It's 35-24. St. Joe, who took command early, and they're staying out front. Charles Thomas, just into the game, traveled with the basketball.
Seems like when Boylan puts a new player in the game, the first thing that happens is they get the ball in a tough situation or a tight situation, and they turn the ball over. That's another unfortunate turnover.
Chucky Murphy, number 12, with the basketball now for St. Joe. This is Carl Hayes. They'll work it around to the other side and probably look for Molis if they can find him. There he is. That's why. Man. 37-24.
See, the Boylan players are now, every time Molis hits one, they're looking over at the bench looking for help. You're not going to get any help. You got to get in his, got to get a lot closer to him.
That's 16 for Molis, 16 for Scales, 32 out of the 37 points. Folling kicks it over to Ferger. He pump fakes. Now he's in trouble. Back out front to Folling. Now Ferger's open. Again, he pump fakes. Harris had problems with it. Scales will not. You got to like the body control that Scales possesses. He knows exactly where to move and how fast to do it.
It's going to be tough for Boylan now. St. Joe's is playing loose. They're playing with a lot of confidence.
There's Gallagher inside. He needs that one, but he missed the whole shooting match. McGee had it blocked from behind, and here comes Molas. Molas down to Scales for 20, and he got it. His 20th point of the first half.
Boylan needs a timeout very badly right now.
Timeout, timeout. Gores finally calls it, and man, suddenly St. Joe, which saw their lead cut by 2-6, I should say, early in the second quarter, now up by 17 points. One of your network sponsors is American Dairy Association of Illinois.
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick, yeah. Whoa! The goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick, yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting calcium and vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Well, come on, everybody, milk's that kick. Health kick, do that kick. Come on, everybody, do that kick. America's favorite health kick.
Satisfied customers are talking about Pekin New Car Dealers.
I just ordered my 6th vehicle from the Pekin New Car Dealers, and I can't see going anywhere else.
We drove over to Bloomington and looked all around in Peoria, but we got the best price at the Pekin New Car Dealers.
I've been trading in Pekin since 1958 and received courteous treatment and outstanding service.
These new car owners save by shopping in Pekin. You can, too. For the best selection of new cars at the best price, see your Pekin New Car Dealer today.
I found no need to go elsewhere because of the excellent trading.
The Chargers of Westchester St. Joe have exploded here in the last 3 minutes. As I said before we broke away, Boylan had cut it to 6. Here's the pass from Molas to you-know-who. Scales, who now has 20 points. Molas has 16. And, gentlemen, when two players, which are your star scorers, can score 36 out of your 41 in the first half, I would say your game plan is intact.
Well, they've got 12 more than the other team, the two players, and they've got a 15-8 lead here in the second quarter after leading by 10 at the end of 1.
And now Rockford Boylan must do just about everything right from here on out. Bowling doesn't want it. He gets it to Gallagher. Gallagher goes up, and he's fouled by Hayes, who came across the lane.
See, that time I thought Boylan had a little bit more patience on their offense. They've been crowding in too much. They've been kind of getting in each other's way, whereas that time they spread out. They had a lot better floor balance than they've had previously, and they got a nice lob into the big guy. If you notice that time, Gallagher only had one guy around him, and that's what you want. Before, when they were passing into him, he had 2 and 3 people around him. That's a little bit tougher play.
Correction on the personal. That was Daryl Cunningham. Daryl Cunningham, who was checked in for Carl Hayes during the timeout. Also in the ball game, Sean Tyler. And this becomes important, too. When you can get a big spread, you can play other people, and you do not have that fatigue factor. A Saturday is indeed in your future. Scales again. Had it knocked away from behind by Ferger, and Folling picks it up.
The uncharacteristic mistake by Cliff Scales. He should have just picked the ball up there.
Gallagher spot. In and out, won't go. Ball bounds around, McGee back up, and he'll get it to fall. Full court pressure applied by Boylan now, but it's broken easily by Murphy. Murphy all the way down, pops, but it won't go, and we got a foul from behind on the back. Daryl Cunningham of St. Joe's. What Boylan wants to do now, gentlemen, just get it below 10 and go into halftime and regroup. There you see Cunningham on the back of Lamont McGee, who marches the other way now.
I think psychologically it would be very important if Boylan could get this inside 10 points with 3 minutes and 2 seconds left to go in this second quarter.
Well, I know as a coach that's what you hope for. You don't want them to spread the lead now on you, and then the game's beyond reach.
McGee, he's perfect from the line today, 5 for 5 now.
I think, as you mentioned, Jim, Coach Pingator's doing a good thing by getting more players involved, because you know what your starters are going to do usually, but you don't know what some of those guys off the bench are going to do. So if you let him get a chance to play here, he's got a nice lead. You might, and later on in the tournament, if they stay in, he gets some foul trouble, he's not afraid to use one of those guys.
McGee has picked up the slack for his teammates. He's got 12 on the afternoon, 4 above his seasonal average. Murphy gets it out to Scales, and they'll play catch around the perimeter now. Dragus looking inside. Now they do get it inside to Cunningham. And when it works, it looks so easy, doesn't it, Coach? 43-29.
Everybody on St. Joe's is playing with a great deal of confidence right now, and I think it's all due to the start that Molis and Scales gave them.
Their shooting percentage is eye-popping.
Gallagher. When you're looking down on the basket, percentages rise. And he once he gets that big right arm up in the air, it almost, and now Scales is tripped on the way up court. Ferger did it, but he did not do it intentionally, and Scales shaken up a bit. He was just trying to catch up to him, basically.
It's the second time Scales has been down. I know he's got a sore knee there. He's got a wrap on it. I just wonder if that's what happened or he hurt his... It's hard to tell right now.
Well, Ferger's probably getting just a little irritated by the fact that every time he goes up to defense Scales, he sees this blur go by.
I think he's holding his right hip. He hit the court on that play. We'll talk to the head coach of the University of Illinois, Lou Henson, at halftime of this game, so hope you'll stay tuned for that.
Clifford Scales, 6'2", 170-pound junior, has 21 points so far.
You know, I have to wonder how much or how good or how much good this press is helping Boylan right now. We just had a foul that really shouldn't have happened, and now we're putting one of their best players on the foul line to shoot a couple easy shots. I would think it might be a little bit better for Boylan to sink back and play that half-court defense and see what they could do with that, rather than opening things up with this full-court press.
Well, Scales will take a breather now as Terry Mister comes back in to replace him, and now some token pressure defense by St. Joe as Fulling brings it up. Paul Fulling, he hasn't taken a shot yet today, but that's not uncharacteristic. There's a shot. Won't go down. Rebound by Cunningham, and St. Joe in great shape, leading by 14 under the 2-minute mark here in the first half. Dragus gets it down low nicely to Tyler. Sean Tyler off the glass, and one of the coaching staff, Scales, now leaving to get that hip treated in the locker room, as you saw. Let's hope it's not too serious. I know that's what Pingator wants. Lamont McGee's having a fine first half. He's got 14 points so far, and he's keeping Boylan within shouting distance as they trail by 13. And now we've got no advancement out there after 5 seconds. That's a violation, and Boylan gets the turnover.
Got a minute 19 to go in the second quarter here. It's going to be interesting to see if St. Joe's goes for one shot or pulls it out a little bit the next time they get their hands on the ball.
Briefly explain that turnover. Exactly what must they... Oh, down low to Gallagher. You got to count that.
It's a high percentage shot.
Well, the Boylan fans are reacting like they just drank about a case of Jolt.
Well, maybe that'll get them going. You know, it's not too late if they get a little bit pepped up here. All they need is a turnover or a missed shot, and they could get it down to 10 if they could score.
It looks like Gene Pingator wants his team to hold for one. Murphy, nice fake, but he traveled. He traveled with a basketball. 45 seconds left.
They got what they wanted. They got the turnover. If they get a hoop, they'll be only 10 down. It's a very important part of the game right now.
Do you wait? Do you take the last shot now, trailing by 12? A lot of coaches won't do that.
No. Right now, they've got a little momentum going for themselves. I'd try the first good shot I've got. I'd shoot it and see if we can get another one.
They're looking for Gallagher. You can count on that. Linsky down the lane, 14-footer.
Tough shot.
It's amazing to me how some players can shoot great when they're floating in the air. Almost taken away. Mister got it back. But the same shooters cannot hit that wide-open, flat-footed jump shot. Under 10 seconds now. St. Joe leading by 10. They can do no worse than that unless they turn it over. Mister, not there. Rebound, McGee fought for. Back up and in by Cunningham at the buzzer. Boy, that's a tough blow for Boylan. They worked so hard to get back to within 10 and then lost it, that rebound, as it got away in the final seconds, and Darrell Cunningham, the sophomore, jammed it back home. But an interesting first half, gentlemen. 49-37. We'll see how Cunningham got away with that what I would call a gimme.
I think this is a very big play. We got the miss.
McGee had it,
got knocked away, and then he's standing there, and he's just an opportune situation for Tyler, and he made the most of it. But as you said, it put him back up 12, and you go into the locker room, you know, on a positive note rather than a negative note.
It was a big play by Tyler. He was the man who knocked it away from Lamont McGee, and then Darrell Cunningham, his mate, said, thank you. 49-37, we'll break. After these messages, we'll be back with Coach Lou Henson.
Experience the sharpest picture, the clearest sound, and the best price around at Wright Satellite. With over 120 TV channels and 50 radio channels, you get unlimited movies, sports, religion, education, music, and adult entertainment. Don't limit yourself to local or cable viewing. With a satellite system, you can now experience first-run movies in your own home. Wright Satellite has the largest display in Illinois, and we will not be undersold. Satellite systems starting as low as $18.80 per month. Come to Wright Satellite now and save during their tax refund sale. Wright Satellite, Peoria, Tremont, and now serving Bloomington.
If you or a member of your family have been seriously injured, you need an attorney you can turn to, someone you can trust, someone who knows your rights and will get you the largest award possible under the law. Jay Jansen knows what it takes to win. He's been practicing personal injury law in Illinois for 25 years. Jay Jansen cares about protecting the rights of his clients, and because he cares, there's no fee unless you win.
For the maximum award under the law, call me, Jay Jansen.
Assembly Hall, and one of the gentlemen we always look forward to talking to at this tournament is the head coach of the University of Illinois, Lou Henson. Lou, what a great field.
Well, it really is, Frank. I think that I'm not so sure that I've seen a better field than this one. We have 8 teams. They're beautifully coached and really good talent.
Lou, you've enjoyed having talent from this tournament over the years, and I'd like for you to take some time here and tell the fans about a couple of players that I know University of Illinois is interested in. One that's coming to Illinois, Marcus Liberty.
Of course, Frank, Marcus Liberty is a tremendous player. He's 6'8", he's mobile, he can do a lot of different things. He just does everything that you need, and I think he's going to be a tremendous college player.
What about LaFonso Ellis from East St. Louis Lincoln?
LaFonso is an A student. He's 6'9", he's still growing. He's been coming to our camp since he's in the 8th grade, and I think he's a tremendous player, will be a great college player.
A couple of other players that are at the University of Illinois that played in this tournament. One is Kenny Battle. How's he doing?
Oh, Kenny's doing a super job. But, Frank, he'll be eligible next year, and he's an excellent rebounder. One of the hardest working individuals I've seen, so we're really counting on Kenny.
Battle was a very explosive high school player. Do you expect that kind of performance from him on the college level?
Frank, I think so. He is a tremendous defensive player. He's a very good scorer from 15 feet in, and we expect him to start for us and just do us a super job.
What about Nick Anderson?
Well, Nick is a good one. He's 6'6", he's mobile, can shoot the ball and handle it. Fundamentally, he's really sound, and we're expecting great things out of him.
You had a couple of young men in the backcourt that really lit up the three-point range this season for you, Doug Altenberger and Tony Weisinger, both from Peoria. Are you in favor of the three-point play at the high school level?
Frank, as a coach, I don't like it on the college level, but everybody else does. I think it'd probably be good on the high school level since I'm not coaching there.
Coach, why don't you like it on the college level?
Well, I think there's an element of luck involved, and you can be ahead and lose a game right at the end, or you can come back and win them. Most coaches do not favor the three-point shot, but I think it's here from now on. It's a play in the game that the fans really love. The news media like it. The referees like it because you can no longer congest your defense in around the basket, so I think we have the three-point shot.
Congratulations, Lou, again. Illinois' program has been in great ascendancy since you've been here, and all the best for continued success.
Thank you, Frank.
Lou Henson, the head man at the University of Illinois, and we'll be back in a moment. One of your network sponsors is John Deere.
Introducing a new riding mower with the tightest turning radius in its class. And yet the sort of heavy-duty transaxle and powerful overhead valve engine you'd expect to find only on commercial equipment. Introducing the new John Deere Riders. Nothing runs like them because nothing's built like them.
Biggs Awning and Window Company has everything you need to beautify and protect your home or office building. Like solid core storm doors, handcrafted for elegance and durability. Inside thermal replacement windows that tilt in for cleaning ease.
And the 2+2 sliding door and window system, made to last a lifetime. Plus, you'll find solid locking iron secure doors, porch enclosures, shutters, aluminum siding, Venetian blinds, and many other quality products. It's all at Biggs Awning and Window Company, where quality is first, last, and always.
Welcome back to Assembly Hall. Jim Albrecht along with Bill Geist, and it is the age of offensive basketball. That's 86 points in the first half, and this, folks, is high school. It is not college where you play a lot more minutes. Let's take a look at some of the scores here. Scales, Clifford Scales, as we told you before he left with that hip injury, and we'll check that out at halftime, 22 points. Nobody, as you can see, in serious foul trouble for St. Joseph's. Molis, Brian Molis, 16 points. That's 38 points, and they have outscored the entire Boylan team by a point. Cunningham chipped in 4, Hayes with 3, Tyler with 2, and John Dragus with 2. Bill?
I think the important thing to note about those stats was that Molis and Scales both picked up that second foul early in the second quarter, and yet they didn't pick up the third. That's a big plus for St. Joe's.
The big scorer for Rockford Boylan, Lamont McGee, who averages 8 a game, but has 14 here in the first half, and a lot of that credited to good free throw shooting. He hasn't missed from the line. Gallagher, his seasonal average right around 20 points per game, and he's getting there, but he didn't start lighting it up until late in the second quarter. Gallagher with 11. Linsky with 7. Berger, that's kind of the surprise here, held to 3 points in the first half. Harris with 2.
I think Gallagher may have 11 points, but I think he should be doing more given the situation and the size of St. Joe's.
We'll come back with more at halftime of this first quarterfinal game after we pause for these messages.
Hi, I'm Bruce Howers for Velde Ford and Velde Lincoln Mercury, where you, the customer, are always number one. For 5 years now, we've been saying if we can't beat your best deal, we'll give you the car free. Well, we've never had to give one away yet. That proves we give the best deals. We also have a distinction that no other Ford or Lincoln Mercury dealer can claim. According to Ford Motor Company, we have the top 3 mechanics in our entire zone. So for the absolute best price and service, where you are always number one, why go anywhere else? Because if we can't beat your best deal, we'll give you the car free.
They all play an important role in protecting your valuables against fire. But if a fire should strike, they'll burn too. That's why you need a MyLink insulated safe for superior fire protection of wills, stocks, jewelry, and other keepsakes and valuables. If fire hits your home, gather your family and get out. Leave what's left to MyLink.
Buy MyLink fire files and safes at Widmer One-Stop Office Marts in Peoria and Bloomington.
St. Joseph over Rockford Boylan here at the half, but Boylan has plenty of time to make up ground. 49-37. Let's take a look at some of the statistics and see how it came about. Can you believe that shooting, gentlemen? 21 of 28 for St. Joseph. Rockford Boylan shooting 50%, which I'm sure Mr. Gores would accept, but now when the other team's shooting 75. And from the free throw line, St. Joe just about as good, 7 of 8 there, but Boylan staying in the game because of their free throw shooting, 13 of 15. The bench strongly in favor of St. Joe's. The rebounds about even, and the turnovers have started to even up after Boylan came back and picked up a couple against St. Joe's late in the second quarter.
Well, I think you're right. The turnovers, I don't think that's a good indication of the importance of turnovers because there are 2 or 3 of them right near the end of the quarter.
We'll be back with the start of the second half. One of your network sponsors is Country Companies Insurance.
When Ed moved to Wheaton, he thought he was going to have to look high and low for a Country Companies Auto Claim Center. He didn't know that Country Companies has more of them than anyone else in the state. So how about it, Ed? Hard to find?
Nope. It's just 5 minutes from my house. And the Country Companies folks around here are just as friendly.
With the most auto claim centers.
You got the Country Companies.
At Grimm TV and Appliance, we appreciate your business. To show our appreciation, we're offering you a special opportunity to save even more during our no-profit holiday. Help us clear our inventory, and you'll save with wholesale prices. When you purchase any in-stock TV or appliance, pay cash and take it home with you. It's just that easy. Now, a chance to buy GE products at wholesale prices. Grimm TV and Appliance. We'll serve you better because we care. Morton, Peoria, and Bloomington.
We are back live at Assembly Hall. Jim Albrecht along with Frank Bassoni and Coach Bill Geist of Lyle Bennett. Both teams now back to their respective benches. They have their halftime instructions. And Bill, if you could wager a guess, what would Steve Gores say at halftime, trailing by 12, after a good run in the second quarter?
Yeah, I'd emphasize that. I'd emphasize the last couple minutes. Gallagher got the dunk. They got a little excited about playing. Their defense improved. But, you know, realistically, gentlemen, Boylan's defense has got to improve. They gave up 49 points. St. Joe's, they're a very good team. There's no question about it. They got 49 points. They missed a total of 8 shots. 7 shots from the field, 1 from the free throw line. And some of that is very good shooting, obviously, but also some of it is lousy defense.
Clifford Scales scored 11 points in the first quarter and 11 more in the second like this.
So there you see the quick hands and the fumble of the ball, and all of a sudden you've got yourself a layup. But, you know, this is how you shoot 75% from the field in the first half.
Yeah, you've got to get quite a few layups, although they had some give and goes, and they did get a couple of layups, but even when they were taking shots from the perimeter, they were deadly.
Well, who was taking the shots from the perimeter?
Scales.
Remember? And Molis.
And Molis
can hit that shot all day. See, what you've got to do, in my opinion, to beat St. Joe's is you've got to play tough on Molis, and you've got to keep the paint crowded. If you do that and make the other players shoot from the outside, make the other players contribute on offense or try to contribute on offense, you'll have more success.
Same starting lineups for both teams here. For St. Joe's, it's Scales and Mister at the guard. This is Molis. Too hard, and rebound Lamont McGee.
Well, Jim, you said he wasn't human. See, and now he didn't miss a shot, so the boy is human.
We'll set the offense for you for Rockford Boylan now as they try to look for Gallagher. McGee has the ball, drives, forces it, gets it to fall. Will it count? Yes, and the foul. No. They say the foul was before the shot, and Steve Gores, the coach of the Titans, leans back in his chair and says, man, I needed that. Well, the contact was before the shot.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed the defense just before the shot, but they were looking to get the ball to Gallagher. There were 3 or 4 guys right around him, and that's why McGee had that good shot.
Well, if they're going to do that, a key is to get Ferger loose and start hitting some shots. There's Gallagher.
Well, the key, I think, is Ferger. Now, the problem with Ferger, in my opinion, in the first half, was that he was trying to make one-on-one moves for his basket, taking jumpers. I don't think he's that type of player. What he has to do is pass the ball, get himself in position to shoot, and then get it back for the nice, easy jumper.
Well, Scales had a relatively easy turnaround, but it came up short, and Fulling, the man who fed the ball to Gallagher the last time, brings it up. Linsky along the baseline.
See, the first 3 or 4 minutes of this quarter is very important. For St. Joe's, it's a matter. See what I mean? That was not a one-on-one move. That was a nice shot with his feet set. But for St. Joe's, now they got to realize, hey, we haven't won this game yet. We got to come out and play.
8-point margin now. St. Joe's up. Mister with the basketball. Molis, who missed his first shot here in the second half, but don't think for a second that will affect him thinking about firing another one. Mister from 17.
St. Joe's is very patient on offense. I'm really impressed with their boys. They move the ball, they get good shots.
Mister's kind of that silent partner out front, but he still gets the job done, averaging 8 points a game. McGee drives, puts it down, tough shot, won't get it to fall, and Scales has the rebound for the Chargers. Quickly up court, Mister loses the handle. Ferger picks it up, Mister steals it back. Molis is fouled. Boy, that's a tough break for Boylan because that's happened 2 or 3 times this game. They come up with the steal, but they can't kick it out of there.
Right, Ferger got the loose ball, and again, he kind of relaxed instead of really squeezing it because the St. Joe's kids have very quick hands, and you've got to protect the ball when you've got it.
There you see Coach Gores and his assistant with the headsets.
Is he listening to us for advice or what?
I would rather doubt it.
Well, I hope not.
Well, Molis misses his first free throw, and if you're a Boylan fan, you're looking for little omens, and that might be one. He buries the second. It's an 11-point lead for St. Joe's at 52-41, and let's see how patient they are in getting the ball to their 6'10 center, Chad Gallagher. A lot of pressure out front by Mister, and it almost paid off as Fulling got it. Fulling surrounded, threw it away, picked out of there by Caesar. Caesar gets it to Mister. Nice cross-court pass, Molis, but he lost control for just a second. And now they have to start the offense over again. Scales says, I'll do that. Baseline Mister. Kicks it into Caesar, forces it, and it won't go. Tipped out of there by McGee, but I think we'll have a foul on the back by McGee against Caesar.
Last two plays we saw, I think, an excellent example of two-point guards. The last time down, Fulling tried a pass, and it was an air pass and was intercepted. That pass just now you saw was a little bounce pass. When you're a little point guard, you've got to throw bounce passes, especially when you're close to the paint like that, because those big people are going to get the air passes, and that's what happened to Fulling, and Mister's pass was a success.
McGee with his second personal foul, and now we have a foul on the inbounds pass as Linsky picked it up.
See, on defense, you can't be too anxious now. They are 11 points down. They want to get back in the game, but you've got to do it slowly. You're not going to do it by committing silly fouls, so you've got to be patient. You've got to be mentally tough, I think, now, just to work and to stay nice and low.
And not give up easy baskets at this point. Out front to Mister, who shows his athletic ability by going upstairs to bring it down. Team fouls there in the first half. Molis, bingo. Brad Molis with the baseline barrier, and it's 5:30 left here in the third quarter, and it's again a 13-point lead as St. Joe's expands their halftime margin by 1. Berger, who has yet to really light it up. Down to Gallagher, double team, blocked from behind by Dragus, and they called the foul.
Now, Chad got the ball this time. Now watch. He's got 2 men on him. Right there. They come over the top. He got a little bit of the hand. But he's drawing a crowd when he gets the ball.
A little bit of the hand. He also was hit along the lower portion of the body. I think maybe that's where the foul came from.
See, St. Joe's their part of their game plan must be when Gallagher gets the ball to collapse 2 and 3 people on him. When we played him, he was a pretty good passer. He would pass the ball out. Maybe he should be doing a little bit of that. If he's got 2 or 3 guys on him, you know somebody's open. And they've got enough good shooters where other people could be putting it up.
Gallagher shows his good form from the free throw line, 70% on the year.
Gallagher's also got 60 block shots, so he stays in the low box on defense a lot of the time. Not too much today.
Dragus kicks it down low to Molis. In and out. Gallagher high for the rebound.
See, St. Joe's doesn't have that dominating center, so what they're doing against their man-to-man defense is they're just bringing their center out and then bringing Gallagher with them.
Linsky looks at it but doesn't want it. Berger does from 20.
See, that's his shot. His feet were set, no dribbling, no fancy stuff. Just get it and fire.
Back underneath that 10-point margin again. It's 54-45. St. Joe with the basketball and the lead. Down low they go, and you know who got it, Scales. I mean, Scales is good outside, inside, in between.
Great pass from Brian Molis. It just shows that the young man can do more than shoot.
That's 24 in the game, I believe, for Clifford Scales. 56-45 our score. Berger driving. Glass is not there, and an offensive charge. Offensive charge on Berger. Setting it up down low was Oliver Caesar, as you're about to see.
See, Brad just hit a couple shots, and I think he's better not putting the ball on the ground. This is the second time he's picked up a charge, and he just goes a little bit out of control.
That's a big foul, too, because that is 4 now on Mr. Berger.
As a coach, you just get your star shooter loose. He's starting to shoot a little bit, and he just picked up his 4th foul. That's
nice pass down low to Molis. Boy, Mr. delivers, doesn't he?
Another easy shot, too. The St. Joe's kids have passed very well this game. Very, very well.
Well, that's what Steve Gores told me before the game. Driving is Linsky.
Well, Linsky's had a good game, I think. I don't know if he's normally that good a player, but I think he's thrown in some good shots for him and kept him in the game.
I like the way he shoots on the move.
They seem like tough shots and shots that aren't very high percentage.
Scales is open, and the left hand is good. Scales got loose underneath, waited for the pass, put it up with the left hand, and now he has 26 on the afternoon. Berger had some problems with that. Gallagher, good hands this time. Good result. 60-49 as Boylan keeps pecking away. 3:25, and the problem when you play St. Joe's in this kind of game, if you get behind in the 4th quarter late, they are not the kind of team you can catch up on because they are such an excellent passing team, and they're so quick they can play keep away fairly well.
They catch the ball well, too, on these passes.
Scales, look at that.
Boylan's loosened up on offense, but you know what? They can't stop St. Joe's at the other end. I don't care how many of your points you score. If you're not going to play D and start stopping the other team, they're not going to get back in this game.
That time, Dragus and Gallagher were playing a game of hold me, and
St. Joe's averages 67 points a game for this season. With 2:58 to go in the third, they had 62.
Now you'll see why Clifford Scales has 28 points. Put the head down, stop, come back the other way with the left hand over Lamont McGee. We've got a timeout on the floor. St. Joe leading it by 13, 2:58 remaining in the third quarter, and one of your network sponsors is the American Dairy Association of Illinois.
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick, yeah. Whoa! The goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick, yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting calcium and vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Oh, come on, everybody, milk's that kick. Health kick, do that kick. Come on, everybody, do that kick. America's favorite health kick.
Bill Geist, you made an interesting point moments ago. Rockford Boylan's offense now is in high gear, but they can't seem to halt St. Joe as St. Joe keeps taking it down low with, believe it or not, their guard.
Well, yeah, you know, they're getting one layup or easy shot after another because they're lobbing the ball. They're penetrating very well. And Gallagher really isn't being much of a defensive stopper inside. At halftime, he didn't have any fouls, and, you know, that's good. You don't want your big guy in foul trouble, but, you know, maybe he should have one or two because he's trying to block some shots and trying to play a little bit better defense. But if you're going to give St. Joe's those easy shots inside, you're not going to come back. So they've got to start, you know, clogging up that middle a little bit and try to hope that St. Joe's isn't as patient on their offense as they have been.
They're going to have to shut down Molis and Scales because those two gentlemen, Scales with 28, Molis with 21. Into the ball game is Phil Harris for Rockford Boylan. This is Linsky. That one's not there. Mister with a rebound. He looks down court for Scales, who's covered momentarily, but he finds Molis.
Another layup and another good pass.
Mister had the whole court covered. As soon as he got that ball at the Boylan free throw line, he knew where he was going with it. Linsky last time had a Here's Harris long distance. That one was forced, but he was fortunate enough to get his own rebound. And now they say he traveled with the basketball. And Steve Gores, if I were the coach, might disagree just slightly because it looked like there was some contact over there.
The point was the shot never should have been taken, Jim. That wasn't a good shot for that young man.
St. Joe's up by 15, threatening to put it away before the third quarter is history. Molis hangs, too short, gets it back. Mister, though, takes it. That one went.
That was an unusual bad shot for Brian Molis because he was off balance. And, of course, he's hit everything else he's thrown up there. He probably figured he could make another one.
Mister's got the lane. Mister just gave a head fake right, went left, found the glass, and it's 66-49 as J.J. Polk gets set to check back in for Boylan, who is in Elite 8 trouble. Linsky. I'll tell you, when he's moving, he's tough to stop. 66-51 as Ken Linsky, who scored 25 points in the sectional finals to help Boylan advance, cuts the lead to 15. Uh-oh. We may not need announcers for the rest of this tournament when Scales gets the ball.
Well,
that's 30. I know.
Scales and Molis have so much confidence right now. I think they feel they could shoot from just about anywhere.
Mister takes it away from Fulling, who gets it back, throws it down low to McGee, and it's taken away and knocked out of bounds by Carl Hayes. You'll see McGee get down low, and you'll see Hayes come over. Hayes didn't really even have to get that high. Phil Harris kicks it into Lamont McGee, and they'll set up the offense. J.J. Polk wearing number 20 in the ball game, replacing Fulling. Linsky moving again, but this time the ball won't fall, but he's fouled by Clifford Scales.
Yeah, that's his third, but, you know, I'm laughing because he tried to avoid the foul by getting out of his way, and it seems like every time you try to avoid a foul, the official catches you.
As we said at the outset, St. Joe's becoming a fixture down here with their coach, Gene Pingatore.
See, though, Jim,
Pingatore, excuse me, Gene, I'm sorry.
But Scales picking up his third foul here. They do have a 17-point lead, so it's nice to have the Coach Pingatore has the option of taking him out with a big lead.
Here's a fadeaway tough jumper by Phil Harris, and that's the kind of shot you need. Long baseball pass, Gale, and he's fouled by J.J. Polk. Otherwise, he would have had his 32nd point of the night. As I was about to say, Gene Pingatore has been down here 5 of the last 6 years, his best finish. Well, there's the replay of Scales taken up from behind by J.J. Polk. His best finish back in 1978 when he finished second in the state to Lockport Central, but they've been having problems with this first round in the last couple of years.
The St. Joe's kids are doing a nice job when they get the defensive board looking up court. If Boylan's at least a bit slow getting back, they're looking up and getting that long pass and the easy shot.
That was one of the softest free throws I've ever seen in my life. It didn't go down, but
you got a great shooter on the line. You're going to see that.
Scales makes it 31 points on the afternoon, and checking in now is Chucky Murphy. As Scales may just sit out the rest of this game if things stay the way they are.
Well, that might depend. He's out there, or he's sitting down now because he's got 3 fouls, but you don't know about his hip or whatever happened before to him, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to rest him if you could.
J.J. Polk tried to get it into Gallagher, but instead of going high with the pass, he tried to take the short route, and it cost him. Mister leaves Polk out front. They'll just play catch around the perimeter for a while. 35 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. We hope you're enjoying this first of 4 quarterfinal games today.
See, I would say St. Joe's right now is going to go for 1 or a layup.
Well, Linsky changed all that with the steal. He goes one-on-one against Molis and double dribble. It was a good idea. He tried to switch hands, and that's when he came up with the double dribble violation. 69-51. Our score remains 18-point lead. St. Joe's led by a dozen at the half, and they've expanded that despite the fact that Boylan came out in good shape at the beginning of that third quarter, shooting the tail. 7 seconds. Mister spins. Mister falls down, and he traveled with the basketball.
I think that was a good call. There was a little contact, but I think the shuffle of the feet occurred before the contact.
Bowling will come back in now, and Ferger will check in as well. Coming out of the ball game for Boylan, David Apino, and also Phil Harris. And this is one of those get it in quick and give it your best shot. Or the long baseball pass. It's along to Ferger. It worked. I'll be done. I'll be done. You know, I think they were concentrating on Gallagher so much that Ferger snuck in the back door. 69-53, St. Joe's leading, and Boylan with 8 minutes of desperation left. We'll be back to see how it all comes out in just a minute after these messages.
Almost every dealer will offer you cash back and low financing, but only University Ford gives you up to $600 cash back. Financing as low as 3.9%, plus 4 days and 3 nights in Orlando, Florida free. Now, only at University Ford. Get cash back, low financing, plus stay in Florida on us when you buy your new or used car or truck today. Before you buy, get the facts. At University Ford, your 5-star Ford dealer. 3403 North University, Peoria.
Kroger salutes high school basketball in Illinois. The pride, the power, the promise. Kroger salutes Illinois' best with our best.
Regular Diet Pepsi, Pepsi Free, or Mountain Dew, 12 12-ounce cans, $2.79. Sweet, zesty, or classic kosher pickles, $1.39. And Eckrich smoked sausage, just $1.79 a pound.
Score with cost-cutter savings. Go, team. Go Krogering.
Right before the half, St. Joseph got a bucket the last second, and right at the end of the third quarter, Rockford Boylan got it, pulling with the baseball pass, and that's a home run. Ferger was all alone. I think Gallagher screened out the world.
Well, St. Joe's made a mistake in not putting somebody right underneath the basket there, because those long passes, they're hard to judge, and the St. Joe's kids went up like they had it, and it just sailed over their fingertips. Boylan has got to obviously get back in the game soon. We've got 8 minutes. It's not something that you have to do in the first minute, but you do have to start attacking a little bit, but they still have to get good shots.
Here's Linsky. He buries it from outside.
That's one of those good shots.
69-55. David Apino is the man you see playing defense. He'll greet Mr. right there. He wears number 22. Hayes passes it back out to Molis, who's been a little quiet in the second half, but that's simply because he hasn't been taking a lot of shots. He hasn't had to.
Chargers move off the ball very well.
Yeah, they set good screens.
Caesar to Mister. Mister to the hoop. It's too hard. They need the rebound, but they don't. Yeah, they finally do. It was saved by Hayes, but he got it back into Gallagher. And David Apino looking up to see if anybody's open down the floor. Linsky, that's the spot he hit it from last time. Looking. Apino open from 14. That's way off the mark. Rebound fought for, tipped around, belongs to Carl Hayes and the Chargers. Carl Hayes looks like he has one of those bodies that is yet to fill out, you know? Only a junior.
Looks like he's going to grow forever, doesn't it?
That's Hayes, top of the circle. Chucky Murphy in the ball game, and this is Molis. That's going to be off to the right. Rebounds Gallagher. Kind of slapped it down to the floor for Apino to pick up, and he'll bring it up and give it to Linsky. Gallagher needs it. Doesn't get it. Linsky rebound back up and in. 69-57. Well, St. Joe's kind of fell asleep on the boards that time.
Well, you know, when Gallagher takes that shot, he's fading away from the basket, so that really takes him away from the board. Linsky did a great job of following in there and picking up his teammate.
Down low to Hayes. He's surrounded by Gallagher and Ferger, so they'll try the right side. Caesar. Hayes doesn't want it. For St. Joe's. Well, it's, oh, they throw it away. Linsky all the way down, count him up, and he's fouled on the play. Oh, man. Chucky Murphy can't believe he got called for the foul. All he did was stick that one little fingertip in there, and the official said, man, that's going to count against you. Great play by Linsky, as you can see him sprinting out on the wing, and now he just takes his time. And look at this. Sometimes the phantom fouls are the worst kind.
He shouldn't have waved at him, I guess.
69-59, timeout, St. Joe's. 5:57 remaining in the fourth quarter. And one of your network sponsors today is John Deere, celebrating its 150th year.
The John Deere last.
How long does a John Deere last? 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 Well, come on.
Blue skies and clean air were something I took for granted as a boy. Not anymore. We have to work together to keep our air clean and unpolluted. Now we're using new technologies and new products like clean-burning ethanol fuels. Ethanol is actually made from corn, and 25% of all gasoline sales in Illinois are now ethanol blends. Ethanol, made from America's own corn, is a step in the right direction.
Brought to you by the Illinois Corn Marketing Board on behalf of Illinois corn growers.
Well, the first thing Coach Gene Pingatore did during the timeout was go back to his ace, Clifford Scales, who left early in the fourth quarter, but we said if things got out of control, he'd probably resurface again, and he has. This man at the free throw line, Ken Linsky, having one of those games of his lives, as we talked about earlier. 17 points, trying for 18, and he won't get it. Could have cut it to 9, but the ball refused to fall, and here comes Clifford Scales. It is Scales, Mr. Carl Hayes, Molis, and Caesar in there for St. Joe's. This is Molis. Good head fake. 14-footer. In and out. Rebound Hayes. Carl Hayes right there.
That broke a 6-point run by Boylan.
Boy, Hayes was just hanging around the room waiting for that. Ferger. Linsky drives. Contact. I think it'll be a charge. It is, and that may just end the run here by Boylan, because not only did the Hayes rebound end the 6-point run as Frank pointed, but, you know, at this point, Coach, you got about at least get a shot every time down. You can't turn the ball over.
Well, I think this has kind of been Boylan's bugaboo most of the game. They've just that every time they need a basket or just to get like you say, a good shot off, they seem to turn it over. And if they could have eliminated that stuff and get a shot every time down, especially with the size inside, they would have been a lot better off. But to talk about it and actually go out there against those quick players, it's two different things.
Steve Gores, the coach of Rockford Boylan, does not want to see Molas shooting. He says that was a player control foul, but the officials disagree, and that's why Steve Gores did not want Molas at the free throw line.
See, I think we're getting to the point of the game where St. Joe's might be spreading it out a little bit and just taking layups or getting Molas or Scales free for a good shot, and the other players just, working the ball and running time off the clock.
Molas with 25 on the afternoon. Berger, nice head fake, tough shot. He can't get his own rebound. That's because Oliver Caesar was there.
Molas had 25 in the Super.
Nothing like consistency, is there? Here's Scales. That's too easy. That's too easy. Nobody jumped out and picked him up. Scales now with the triple threes on the board. 33 points for Scales. Pino kicks it out to Linsky. That's a 17-footer. Won't roll down. Molas has the rebound, and St. Joe's appears to be back in control as they got it back up to a 16-point lead. And Scales hit the deck again, and this time he's grabbing his right knee. Boy, he's having a tough day. I tell you what happens. Scales is so quick, sometimes he gets by his man. Again, this is Berger. You see, Berger's got the leg out there. Now, you can't really call that an intentional foul, but Berger is fouled out of the ballgame.
It almost looked like he stepped on it. Yeah, he tripped over his ankle. Berger was sliding with him, and Scales tripped over his ankle. It was a foul, but it certainly wasn't on purpose or anything like that. Yeah. But you're right, Jim. Cliff is having a tough game, but he's a tough kid.
There you saw Coach Gores shaking Brad Berger's hand, and Berger has a tough memory to take home in this quarterfinal game because, as you saw, only 7 points on the game. And he was their best perimeter shooter coming in, averaging 15, and they really relied on that Berger-Gallagher combination to make the offense click. Open it up from the outside, then stuff it down low on the inside.
I think St. Joe's did a good job against Brad Berger in not giving him the shot that he wants. I think the shot that he would have liked to have taken were the first couple he got here in the third quarter, where he had that nice open 20-footer. He was able to set his feet without dribbling. I think they made him put the ball on the ground, and he's not quite as effective on offense as he is if he sets.
Whoa, Scales missed the free throw. That's 8 out of 10 on the day for Scales. And Pino in a hurry. There's still 4:20 left here in the game, and Scales knocked it out of bounds.
And coming up after this one, Elgin 28-2 against the defending champion Chicago King with Marcus Liberty.
And of course, when we ran into Coach Landon Sonny Cox last night, he requested that Bill Geist say something nice about his King team, so I'm sure we'll hear that in the second game.
It's kind of hard to watch King without saying a lot of nice things about him, I'll tell you that. They're really quite a squad.
Trying to get it into Gallagher, they finally do, and the big man at 6'10" makes the fluffy stuff move. 4:09 remaining in the game, and it's a matter of time now for Boylan. Time is not one of their friends. Molas driving baseline, stops, kicks it over to Hayes. That's just good basketball.
Well, that's great body control. I thought Brian was going to go up for the layup, and he saw the man step in front of him to take the charge, so he just picked it up and hit the open man for the easy shot.
Well, the thing is, Rockford Boylan's defensive average on the year was 53 points coming into this game, and it's already 25 points above that. Nice move and a bucket by Phil Harris for the Boylan Titans. In the last 3 years, Steve Gores, 85-9. Quite a record. But that was yesterday, and today is what counts, and they don't have enough, or so the scoreboard would say. Scales will just play catch out front for a while, kill some time. We're approaching the 3-minute mark at Assembly Hall, the first of 4 quarterfinal games. Tomorrow, of course, the semis, and then tomorrow night, that championship game, the one that Frank Bassoni lives for, right, Frank? It's always fun. Down low to Mister. Nice reverse, but he'll be called for traveling, I believe. Mister, a little too fancy.
You know, Boylan, they're going to lose this game now. They're down 15 with 2:47 to go. But they've had a great season. These, we played them at Thanksgiving, and there was, they've got great fans, and Steve Gorse does a great job. And, you know, you hate to lose when you come down here, but somebody has to. And I can't imagine St. Joe's playing any better than they did today. They executed extremely well, and I think everything Boylan did wrong, it seemed like St. Joe's took advantage of. And they just got beat by a hot team.
And Boylan's lost only 10 games in the last 4 years, and that's a credit to their program, of course. And as you said, Coach, I think it's just an awesome performance by St. Joseph's here, and they could probably beat anybody playing this way.
Oh, I agree with you.
Well, this will wipe that quarterfinal taste out of the mouth of Gene Pingatore. Last year when they came out, looked a little flat, lost to Romeoville by 1. Hayes underneath again. 80-63.
Molis, a well-known shooter, zipped that ball underneath for the layup.
I'd like to know how many assists he has, because I think he's done very well passing the ball tonight.
Down low to Linsky, and he is fouled by Hayes.
I would think Coach Pingatore would take out a couple of his starters here, and because, of course, you never know. If I was over there, I'd probably leave him until there's about 10 seconds left. But, you know, you don't want to fool around with a game when you're down here. But, you know, you'd hate Cliff Scales has had such a tough game that I'd like to sit him down and be sure that he doesn't pick up another floor burn or whatever.
Andy Binns, 34, checks in for the Titans. Dave Apino goes out. Binns, a 5'11 junior.
We already mentioned the Chicago King and Elgin immediately following this game. In tonight's session, if you like the Battle of Timber, join us for Oak Forest and East St. Louis Lincoln. We are talking mammoth people inside, and you're going to see one of the premier rebounders, if not in Illinois, then maybe the entire country. His name is LaFonso Ellis. And then, of course, following that game, Peoria Manual, #1 and undefeated against underdog Quincy, but with Jerry Leggett around, I wonder if you can use the word underdog. You'd have to tonight, but Leggett's always got tricks, doesn't he? 80-65. The good kind of tricks. Yeah, Pingatore's still going with most of his starters in there. Mister out front having a little problem as Andy Binns gives him some fits. 1:30 remaining in the game. We know who the victor will be. We're waiting to find out the final score. Some of the Boylan fans are shouting boring, but
well, this is what St. Joe's has to do. You know, what I'd like to see at this point of the game is for both teams to empty their bench and let those guys that have worked hard in practice all year maybe get a little taste of the champagne floor.
5-second violation. And there you see the score by quarter. St. Joe jumped out to that 10-point lead. It was a pretty even second quarter, and then they started stretching it in the third, and they're pulling away now in the fourth, leading it by 15 points. Long outside jumper is not there by Andy Binns, and Carl Hayes has the rebound. Get it down low, and that is Cunningham. Cunningham can't buy the bucket, and the other way it's Pulling. Pulling for Boylan. Under a minute now. Ooh, the alley-oop attempt went awry. We've got bodies falling all over the floor as Ernie Schaefer, who just checked into the ball game, hit the deck. Ooh, behind the back. Back to Molis. Fade away, not there. Tipped up. Nope. Yep, Hayes. Hayes got the third tip in, and I think we're going to have a timeout. No, they won't give it to him. Gene Pingatore wanted to get the rest of his reserves in there, but they wouldn't give him the timeout. Ernie Schaefer feeds it inside to Pulling, who gets it slapped away by Hayes. Schaefer again. That's offensive goaltending, folks, but nothing was called, and now we've got a timeout on the floor. Timeout or not? No, nobody sees it. The coach wanted it. Molis got shoved from behind, and we'll have a foul. It could be a dangerous play.
Well, that's what I mean. You want to...
That was offensive goaltending down there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or am I dreaming?
Well, it seems like both teams wanted to call a timeout, and there's just somebody open underneath the basket, and the players just don't understand, call that timeout to get the other players in the game.
Yeah, it was Harris who went up, and Gallagher also thought it was a violation, and everybody seemed to stop, but Gallagher ended up getting the 2 points. 82-67 our score. Sean Tyler checks in now. Darrell Cunningham in the ball game for St. Joe. Carl Hayes is still in there. Molis is at the free throw line, of course. A two-shot intentional foul is the call. Molis doesn't get the first one. He's trying for his 26th point on this occasion. And that's what he'll end the day at, 26 points. And you'll see Mr. Molis in the semifinal round tomorrow, as you will Clifford Scales. Also checking in now for Westchester St. Joe's is Michael Hall. So it's Chucky Murphy, Sean Tyler, Michael Hall, Darrell Cunningham, and Carl Hayes. And you've got Andy Binns, Ernie Schaefer in there for Rockford Boylan. They get the ball inside, and Tyler puts it down. Sean Tyler with a pretty move. And that'll be the last shot of the game, excluding this one, as Andy Binns can't find it, and St. Joseph finds a quarterfinal win. And how? Over Rockford Boylan, 85-67. Gene Pingatore shaking hands with Steve Gores, and that quarterfinal ghost of Rockford Boylan still hanging on, Coach. That's always the tough one, though, isn't it? That first game down here?
Well, like I say, the first one is you know, gosh, I don't know what to say. I know exactly how Steve feels and the Boylan players feel, and I know how St. Joe's feels right now. And they've just played, I think, St. Joe's did their game, and they've got to feel good about it. Boylan did not play their game. They're capable of much better, but you know, who's to criticize? You come down here, they did the best they can, and St. Joe's was so quick, and Molis and Scales started off so quickly that, you know, I think the result was inevitable.
So the Boylan season ends at 29-4, and their third straight trip to the Elite Eight ends on this Friday. Westchester St. Joe's, of course, moves on to the semifinals tomorrow afternoon with a record of 27-2. And they will take on the winner of the next game, Elgin or defending state champion Chicago King.
You know, you look over this, and I think patience on offense was the most important thing. You might think patience from St. Joe's. They scored 85, but they really did have patience because they got such easy shots.
We'll come back and start setting up game number 2 here after we pause for these messages.
Imagine changing brown eyes to blue. Now you can with Durasoft Colors contact lenses. Ask your eye care professional about Durasoft Colors for vision or just for fun.
Durasoft Colors. Try them free at Weiser Eye Care. Buy a pair, get a second pair at half price. Or try Siva Soft Colors from $79 at Weiser Eye Care with over 60 locations throughout Illinois. Weiser Eye Care. Trusted since 1898.
Your truck buck stops here at Peoria Toyota Volvo. We're driving down prices so you can drive home a new Toyota truck. $63.98 or just $122.04 a month puts you behind the wheel of our lowest price two-wheel drive truck. Or blaze your own trail with this Toyota 4x4 for only $92.71 or $176.44 per month. Your truck buck stops here at Peoria Toyota Volvo.
And welcome back to the Assembly Hall. Jim Albrecht along with Lyle Bennett coach Bill Geist, and Frank Mazzoni is also standing by in the game you just saw. Well, let's check the rest of the matchups here in the quarterfinal round. It is Chicago King trying to become the first Class AA team to win back-to-back state championships here at the Assembly Hall against Elgin. Tonight, of course, the session will start off with East St. Louis Lincoln, a front-line coach that averages 40 rebounds a game, 20 from the aforementioned LaFonso Ellis, against Oak Forest, a team that also is very big and whose coach says, hey, everybody keeps saying we're supposed to be afraid. Maybe they should be afraid of us. So we'll find out how that goes. And then, of course, Quincy Sr., who knocked off Lockport in the Super Sectionals by a point, taking on top-rated and undefeated Peoria Manual, as Dick Van Sciak and his squad will try to keep that perfect run going. So game 1 today went the way of Westchester St. Joe, as they scored a lot of points, Coach. A lot of points, and they averaged only 67 a game, but they just went to Scales and Molis. They were both hot, and hey, that's the ticket.
Well, if I can just elaborate on something I said just before, is that I think shot selection and patience was the key to that game. And even though St. Joe's scored so many points, I mean, it had to be kind of a run up and down game, but we just look at the types of shots that they took. It was just one layup or one easy jumper after another, and I don't think Boylan had the patience to get it into their big people consistently. They had moments when they did, and they were successful with it, but they just didn't do that for the whole game. I thought St. Joe's did it for the whole game.
St. Joe's also, as you pointed out during the game, did a good job on Brad Berger as far as keeping him out of his game from the perimeter. There's our final stats.
And you can see shooting 67% from the field is a tremendous accomplishment, especially against a team like Boylan.
Boylan, of course, did well from the free throw line, and their field goal shooting was not that bad either. But again, when St. Joe makes 36 out of 54, you probably do not advance, and they did not. Free throw shooting, not a real factor in this game. Boylan 17 of 20, 13 of 18. A good free throw shooting on both teams. Turnovers about even, rebounds about even.
Yeah, I think this is a good example of where I don't know if the stats really tell the story of the game. Yeah. You know, because the stats were, I think, a lot closer than what that game actually was.
Yeah, what killed Boylan, if you look at it, is when they came down and they worked so hard to get that ball into Gallagher, or they got it into Linsky, and they got the bucket, and you look up 8 seconds later, St. Joe's is down on the break, and they got a layup.
Shooting a layup, right.
That kills you.
Yeah, you work hard to get a shot, and then they get an easy one.
Now let's take time for this from our network sponsors.